Coach Griesbaum, we just finished up our own interview, but we're talking about Grosse Pointe South Hall of Fame, and super excited to get the opportunity to talk about Grosse Pointe South baseball, and especially to talk about a certain individual, Dan Griesbaum Jr., not to be confused with senior here to my right. How much did it mean to you to have the opportunity to coach your son before we get into the accolades?
Yeah, well, it really almost didn't happen. A lot of people know the story, maybe a lot don't, but we live in the North District. In fact, right behind North's faculty parking lot. So he was scheduled to go to North. But as you know, at the time I was coaching football and baseball at South, the two sports that he played. And it was going to be very difficult for me to keep my positions at South and not be able to watch him play. I just wasn't going to do that.
Right.
So I was ready, willing, and able. As much as I, loved it at South, coaching football and baseball, I was ready, willing, and able to go to North and be an assistant there with Frank Zimbera for two sports. If I had to be able to see him play. But fortunately, he decided in late July to come to South, and obviously I was elated he did that.
So talk a little bit about what you saw. We'll get into the South side of this in a second, but before we got to South, what was Dan like growing up playing the game?
Well, he just, even from the time he was a little kid, loved the game, loved playing it. I mean, he was a bat boy when I first started. He was, 5, 6, 8 years old, at the time. When he was 5, 6 years old, he would even play a game by himself in the backyard, including singing the national anthem before the game. I think we have some video of that somewhere, but he loved the game, loved football also, but loved playing the game, loved watching the game, is a student of the game, knows statistics better than just about anybody.
Oh yeah, still does.
And he obviously, I was, as I said, very elated to have him come to South, because I certainly didn't want to leave there if I didn't have to, but I was going to do so if he decided to go to North.
So talk a bit about what happened thereafter. He comes to South, it works out.
Mm-hmm.
At this point in time, when you know, okay, I know that you wanted to coach him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But is there some pressure knowing that you have to coach your son around,
absolutely,
especially at a place like South where it's high stakes?
Absolutely. A lot of pressure on a coach's kid. There's no doubt. And I was probably very, very conscious of that, maybe even overly conscious of it.
Mm-hmm.
He did play JV as a freshman. I thought that he could be playing varsity as a sophomore, but wasn't sure that I could do that. He had to prove himself, and he sure did. He didn't start out starting, but he ended up starting by the end of his sophomore year. And as you know, had a great junior year and even better senior year. Right. And he's in our record books in many categories, from RBIs to hits to home runs to average. Triples, led us in triples with 7 his senior year. Had a great career. And as you know, followed me 30 years later to CMU to play there.
Talk a little bit about those accolades. What were some of the things that stand out? The first thing that comes to mind when you think about your son's career, as a leader and a captain, and a guy who was not named a captain until a certain stage, but a guy who really he's still a captain. He walks around as if he still has that aura about him. So, what were your teams able to accomplish while Dan was there, and what sort of role did he play into that?
See, well, the crazy thing is, we had 2 D1 players in the program in 98 and 99, and Dan and Charlie Braun, who played shortstop and had a great career at Michigan State. And I'm sure he's in the running for Hall of Fame very soon as well. We never really won anything huge in terms of Final Four, state championships while he was there. Again, we played in the tough MAC Red, and the MAC Red was as tough back then as it is now, if not tougher. And as a team, we didn't have a lot of success in terms of advancing very far. Our pitching wasn't tremendous, but we had some very good players on the team. Teddy Swarthout was another one, another real good player on that team. Jason Mangle, but they never really got by district except for 1 year, his junior year. Senior year, we lost. We were up against North, and again, we're playing North all the time in the districts, and we win a lot. They win some, and they beat us last year. Came from behind, and we ended up, losing in the district final. But even though we didn't win then, Brandon, when I had Dan with me as a player, those were the 4 years that were the most enjoyable, because obviously you're sharing all that with your son. Fortunately, now I have had the opportunity to share a lot of great moments as a coach with me. Winning the state championship in 18, 14 we were runner-up, 15 we went to the Final Four. We won a MAC title, been to the Elite Eight several times. So what didn't happen when he was a player, making up for it as a coach. So it really has been a pleasure. And one of the things that's made our program what it is, I believe, is my assistants. Dan, been with me since he got out of Central in 05, basically, I think that was. And then Matt Reno's been with me for about 25, 26 years. John Hackett, about 30. I mean, who has a varsity coaching staff that has about 70 years of experience coaching with you? And that's what's, I think, made our program what it is the stability.
And I don't think many programs have a JV coach as sharp as Coach Clow either.
No,
I think he's one of a kind in that category as well.
And was a minor league player.
Right.
He advanced to minor leagues as well. So.
Well, what made Dan a Hall of Fame player? Outside of being your offspring, which we know his accolades are tremendous, but in your words, what made him a Hall of Fame player?
Well, he obviously, again, as I said, loved the game, but he hit over 500, his senior year. And again, we had great competition back then as well. He hit for power, had 9 home runs both his junior and senior year. And I know a lot of people look at our field and they see that center field fence, and they think, oh, you guys must pop them out of here all the time. And that's not true. Again, I've been there 40 years, and we've only had 10 as our home run record. He was a great contact hitter, very rarely struck out, was great behind the plate in terms of being a field general, a quarterback back there. Had a great career, and I couldn't have asked for anything more from a leader and kid who just gave his all to the program, no doubt.
So I'll end with this question, right? You've established a one-of-a-kind career at Grosse Pointe South. There are few coaches in the country who have spent that much time in a high school program and built it to the sustainable success you've built it to. You clearly care so much about this program, and right there in lockstep with you are your assistants, by all means, but there are few people out there whose alma mater and the team they coach mean as much to them as Junior does. To speak on how much he puts into South and how much passion he has for the future of that program.
Yeah, he does so much for us in terms of the social media aspect and promoting the program and so on. We feel that, we have all around. It's not just the success, it's just everything that goes along with it. Facilities and our dugout club and just the whole package in terms of the program. Dan has helped us with that tremendously, promoting the program, being an ambassador for the program. You know, I love South baseball. I love the school. I love the community. They've been very supportive. When we accomplish something, I honestly look at it as a community accomplishment, because I couldn't do it without the Little Leagues and without the parents and the dugout club and guys like Dave Bergman, who gave so much time to the community, and you know, our whole, the South baseball community is such that I couldn't screw it up. You know, it's just a great place to be, and I always thought, Brandon, that, you know, at some point that I might like to coach in college. I was a grad assistant at Central. I thought I might want to do that, but you know, God said no. You belong in a high school. That's where I'm going to put you, and it's been a great run, and I've loved every minute of it.
Absolutely, and one of your highlights has to be not only coaching Junior, but being able to stick with him all these years to coach,
Yeah.
which as you pointed out, is his decision and a
Right.
dedication and a commitment that he makes, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, and he obviously, I think he clearly gets that from you. But you guys have done something special together. So Dan was at Grosse Pointe South from '97 to '99. He's been coaching since 2005. He's put a ton into it. So on your behalf, I'll let everybody know congratulations to Dan Griesbaum Jr. and his induction to the Grosse Pointe South Baseball Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Brandon.